Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I want to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for providing us an opportunity today. Again, very, very excited about this past weekend. A lot of things were great for Liberty University. And I think the first thing is just to say, what this victory meant. I really want to start off, it gave us an opportunity to share our brand, the Liberty brand, share our mission. And our mission is to training champions for Christ, meaning that, again, every student, employee, person that comes here at Liberty University, they get a chance to know what their gifts are. They get a chance to share what their gifts are in a godly way. And then we also being able to share training champions for Christ throughout our lives. And that's what it's been about right now, just to share all those things about what Liberty University stands for. And I'm proud to be a part of it. We still got a long way to go. We still got a lot of work to do. I think the next thing is I want to celebrate with our fans. Hope that they all can come out here this Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We moved the game up a little earlier than last year from 6 o'clock. It used to be at 7 o'clock to give us an opportunity for more people to come to our game. And I'm so thankful and blessed for that. Great opportunity for us to play in front of the best fans in the country as we move forward. Now moving on here to Morehead State. Morehead State head coach there and offensive coordinator, Coach Tenure. I think he's a man that's really done a fantastic job. He's been there for 16 seasons. He's been 4 years there as a head football coach. He is the offensive coordinator. They put up 56 points this past weekend, and I know that they played a team that some people may say, well, they supposed to put up those points. Well, we were in that same situation. So we know that it can be done, and so therefore it doesn't matter what the name of the team is and what they're all about. They can come in here and do the things that they want to try to do. Their defensive coordinator, Mr. Coach Moore, he usually plays a 4-down defense. They've really been pretty aggressive here this last game we saw. The quarterback was 5 out of 24 for only 35 yards passing. They only gave up an average of 3.6 yards per play. And so they did a great job against their opponent. Special teams coordinator, they got two special teams coordinator, and they did a great job there. Number 4, the punt returner there, he averaged 25 yards on each punt return. Their punter, it's kind of very, very unusual, had 2 punts over 50-plus yards. It's kind of, he had over two punts. 2 of them, they all were inside the 20. So one was 67 yards for a punt. So they got some things that are going on and players that can play. They have a quarterback by the name of Lawson Page, completed 91% of his passes, 2 running backs for over 100 yards. So, I mean, there's some productivity in their offense and in their team this past week. So we have to be ready to play, and we have to get our guys stay focused on what they can want to get accomplished. Moving on here to injuries. Lionel McConnell, he is out. I guess the amount of time will be to be determined. Still going to run some more tests, X-rays, MRIs, and all that here in the next couple of days, and we'll see what happens. Have a lower body injury. Malik Matthews, he will be out this week. He has an upper body injury. We'll see what happens here in the end of the week, whether he can be able to come back in the next week or two. A redshirt guy by the name of Maury Jenkins, he is out. He has to be determined how long he's out. He has a lower body injury as far as that goes. Then to finish up here with the keys to the game. I want to see us improving the running game on offense. We need to average at least 4 yards per carry. On defense, I think the biggest thing was alarming to all of us is we cannot allow the explosive plays. We want to limit those. And the numbers that we look at and we talk about is 1 explosive play for every 20 plays that are going on. So you say, well, maybe 4 plays and 80 plays that are run. If we have 4 or less, and you say, well, what is explosive plays? And the way we define that is 20 yards for any pass play, and then it's 15 yards for any run play. So if they gain 15 yards or more in a run play, then we count that as an explosive play, and that's not good from a defensive perspective. Then also on the other side of it, we want to get +2 on the turnover margins. I think that's a key thing here. I think that was a very, very important in this past ball game. We were +2 in the turnover margin. We had no turnovers. We gained 2. Again, 1 turnover would have made the difference in this ball game either way. And the last thing I want to finish up with here is B.J. Farrow. He is unable to play, and really it's due to eligibility concerns. And I'm just going to leave it at that. If I get any more information as time goes, when I get the appropriate information, I will let you know on the update as soon as I can as far as that goes. Open it up to questions.
Coach, I guess just kind of start off here for you on a personal level. I mean, to go down there, and I don't know if you've been able to kind of separate it, from team but for you personally, having coached in the Big 12, being familiar with Baylor's program, to go down there, how sweet was this win for you?
Well, I know it's just always going to be my answer. It's not about me. It's about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's about our players. It's about this university. It's about all the people that played before us. It's about all the people who have helped put this university on board, obviously the late Jerry Falwell. So I'm just thankful to be a part of it. It's a great opportunity. I'm here to teach, develop, and grow our young men and equip them to help our society for the rest of our lives. And so that's what it's all about, and I'm already ready for the next one here.
When did you find out about Pharaoh's eligibility concerns, and how pleased were you with the receivers like a Marquise Fitzgerald, Cephas Reddick, guys who had been with the program for a while, hadn't had an opportunity to really step up Saturday?
Found out in the middle of the week, and I'm not going to go into all the details of it. Made the appropriate decision there from Ian McCall and the rest of our administration. Very, very proud of our receivers. Kyle DeArmond did a fantastic job of getting our guys ready to go. I don't believe we had any drop balls, so it was a great accomplishment by our receivers in a tough environment, very good competition. And the remarkable thing, I don't know if I may have, but been a part of a situation where you have 24 third downs and you convert 15 of them. Now, that's even just the number 15. Then you have the total number 24. That's very unusual, and to convert on that many, that's a tremendous feat. That tells me we had tremendous focus. Our guys were prepared. The picture or the game wasn't bigger than what they could do, and so I'm proud of what they do. But now, again, we always talk about consistency, and we'll see what happens here this next week.
Coach, in the excitement of the post-game celebration, you were quick to point out, don't let this win define us. That was kind of a main thing that you told your team after the victory.
Well, I think just like in life, you're here to try to teach young men about the bigger picture. And that's really what that statement was all about, is just trying to say, hey, we can do something one time, but can you do something on a consistent basis? And just want to keep their focus. Yeah, you want to enjoy that moment, and I guess that's just what it was a moment, and then ready to turn the page. So we'll see how we respond. As I always talk about two things: how do you handle prosperity, how do you handle adversity? We all have it in our lives, no matter what we're doing in our lives. So each and every moment, each and every day, how are you going to respond? That's really what life is about. It's about how you respond. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have maybe some good things happen to us. But can you do it on a consistent basis? And if you can do it on a consistent basis, then good things will happen for you.
At what point did you get the team to start to turn the page and move on to this week?
Well, I guess right in the locker room, so to speak, at that point in time. Again, also just trying to keep their focus on things of that nature, and there's bigger things to come. Take care of themselves, their bodies, as we move forward. And, again, it was an interesting day, evening, I guess I should say, because we had that 24 hours or 12 hours was a little bit of a rough time period with all the flight situation that we had. But we'll find out today. We go back to work.
How'd the offensive line grade out, and should that group have gotten more credit than maybe it did after the game Saturday?
Well, they were, they don't have the stats. A quarterback has all these numbers, and the receivers has those numbers and all of that. I thought that was probably one of the better games that I may have been associated with, definitely here at Liberty University, as far as the offensive side of the ball, offensive line. We had some unknowns, and Coach Stam did a fantastic job to have a group of guys of 5. And I think the thing that maybe really satisfies me tremendously about it is 104 snaps. They played 104 snaps. You stop and think about that, and a human being just to go out there and play 104 snaps, 90-degree, the humidity and all that type of stuff. Great preparation by our strength staff, great preparation by our guys. So that's just a tremendous feat. Now, I hope that they're not all wore out here as we go back here this next week. So it's going to be something that we haven't been exposed to. What I mean by that is saying 100 snaps, 5 guys that have played, and how are their bodies mentally and physically. And we got to be adjusting to some of those things as we go through practice here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and get them ready for 6 p.m. on Saturday. So we'll work it out. We'll have a lot of discussion, as we've already had, to making sure that our guys will be ready to play at 6 p.m. on Saturday.
Coach, on the roster, you have Damian Bounds listed at 2 numbers, 94 and 59. Is there a possibility you might have him play on both sides of the line, or is that something that you guys are looking, or just examining for the future?
The reason for he got the 2 numbers is he could play a tight end and have an eligible number. He needs to do that if we put him in that position. Then if we have injuries on the offensive line, he could play offensive line. So we have to have a different number for that purpose.
Will you speak to Buckshot's poise, his accuracy in that first game, how you feel he developed in the offseason and it was shown in this first game, if that excites you for this season?
Well, I'm proud of him. I guess the first thing that comes to my mind. It tells me he worked very, very hard in the offseason. He did the things that we had put down for him to do. Mentally, get your game right, understand the how and the why of every single play that we do. He's done that. And again, you can't never put a person in a game situation. We obviously try to do that to the best of our ability. It was great to see him respond in a great way. He has great competitiveness. He doesn't have that outward emotional appearance or his personality. He's a quiet, laid-back guy per se. But when the game's on, he kind of has a little bit of that unique ability to perform. I like what he's about. His teammates love him. Offense, defense, special teams, everybody there. And again, I hope he continues to do what he needs to do. I know he's not satisfied. That's part of his competitiveness, and I look forward to continue to have him. I know our fans should be very, very excited to have a young man that's going to be here for the next 3 years, this year and 2 more years, because he's going to have some fantastic games. I think this is just first of many.
How about his favorite target Saturday night, Antonio Gandy Golden? Are you surprised that he was able to step up the way he did?
Well, we knew Antonio had the ability. Didn't know how much ability was going to be shown here in this ball game. It was great to see that their chemistry was outstanding. Again, I think that refers back to the offseason program, those 2 guys working together on their own and timing up all the things they need to get it timed up, and then to have it come to fruition in a game. That's outstanding. Then against an outstanding opponent in Baylor. Again, it's just going to be fun for our fans to be able to see this for the next few years.
Another unsung hero is Alex and the way he kicked the football. What conversations did you have with him after the game?
I guess I use that word a lot. I was proud of you. Proud of the way they performed and the way kept the composure. Everybody executed the way it's supposed to execute. Definitely wasn't perfect, but I think it was as close to perfect as it could be. And our guys continue to work. Alex is really a hard worker. Kickers are hard workers. Alex has that uniqueness about him that he's coachable, he's teachable, but he's always looking for the few little small things that maybe sometimes you don't ask. And he's always talking and asking, and how can I get better? How can I get better? Yeah, he's kicking good, but how can I get better? How can I get better? And you like that approach about him, and we're just glad he's on our team. Again, he's only a sophomore himself. So we got, again, our fans going to have some good things to see here in the next few years.
You guys had the odd formation multiple times on extra points. Is that the versatility of Spencer Jones being there at holder that he gives you that option for 2-point attempts and also give what you wanted to try for possibility for 2-point attempts down the line?
Well, yeah, we had talked about that all summer to go to that type of formation as part of our repertoire as far as the extra points, field goals. So we do have that in it, and I guess it worked out very, very well since we had never shown that. I guess my 12 years as a head football coach, I had never had that type of formation shown up. So that was an element of surprise for against Temple and being in the first ball game, and we wanted to take advantage of it, and we ran 2-point conversions. One worked, one didn't, but we put it on tape, and it's going to help us even in the future.
You were watching tape on Baylor and studying their athletes. did you expect to match up as well as you did with them on offense? And then from the defensive side, was there athleticism? Is it more things that you guys need to correct for the explosive plays, or was it just kind of their athleticism?
Well, offensively, we anticipated Antonio could match up against anybody that they may have played as a corner. We're going to go and attack that. We're going to give him chances. As far as their D-line versus the offensive line, it was all a guess. I didn't know for sure if we're going to hold up very, very well against them, particularly in the passing game. So we had some game plan just to try to get the ball out quick to help our offensive linemen. I think we got a rhythm going there pretty good, and Buckshot was able to get the ball out quick. Their offensive side versus our defensive side, we were concerned about them. They did eventually hurt us. Really, the only thing I say we were concerned about was really when they got into two backs, when they got into two tight end sets, and they got one wide receiver, and they felt like they're going to run the ball and just run it down inside the tackles. We knew we were concerned about that. They did have some success, and then they had to play action passes. From that, we decided not to have a whole lot of different defensive schemes against that look. It was the first ball game. We had a lot of new guys, so they did eventually attack that, and that hurt us. Again, you give and take and decide what you need to do from an offense and defensive perspective. But overall, I thought our guys played very, very hard, and that gave us a great chance to be successul.
Coach, if I could ask you a couple of questions I'm sure you've heard before. Number one, the facilities here. How much are they helping you in the move up to FBS? And the second part of the question is, there have been some schools that have gone through this transition period and struggled in their first year, Appalachian State and some others, because there's no postseason. Have you addressed that with your players, and do you think that's going to be a factor this season at all?
Well, I think the facilities it definitely has helped us in recruiting. There's no question about that. We've definitely been able to get into more homes, not necessarily homes, I should say, but more people coming here and more interested in us. There's no doubt that it's going to help us to get better players, better exposure, better opportunities to go all across the country, all across the world to a certain extent. So we're grateful for the opportunity that Dr. Falwell here has given us the facilities to do what we need to do. It's very, very helpful. There's no question about that. So there is a wow factor. We talk to parents, we talk to players when they come here, and I kind of ask them that question: is there any wow factor here? And they definitely repeat that back and say yes, wow. That's all they can say. My moms, dads, and the kids. As far as the transition. Not being able to play in the playoffs and play for a championship, we've talked about it, and just really talked about really being competitive. We're competitors. You play the game of football, you're a competitor, and whether you're playing in the backyard or whether you're playing in front of people, it doesn't matter. You want to win. You want to play your best. You want to perform your best. And then we also go honoring God. God tells us to do your best, period. It doesn't matter what it is. So that's the approach that we have taken. That's the approach that I've spoken to our team. That's the approach that I've talked to our staff. We go after knowing anything any different than what we have in the past. And that's the way I've addressed it, is we ain't going to see any different in us. I'm saying our players, you're not going to see any different in us coaches, how we go about our business. So you're going to do it the same way as going out here and do the best you can. That's all we can ask you to do.
Morehead State coming in, I believe it was last week, they had the 200-plus yard rushers, quarterback very accurate, you mentioned, but last year he rushed for, I believe it was 7 touchdowns. Have you, in your tape study, honed in on a specific area you want to try to contain them in on the ground, or if it's through that quarterback trying to get pressure to him?
Well, we definitely always going to stop the run. And unfortunately against Baylor, they attacked us pretty well on that, had some good success. So we got to make sure we stop that. That's going to be always the game plan, no matter who we playing. If you stop the run and make them one-dimensional, you have a whole lot better chance. There's no question about that. So we're going to attack that. We're going to address it, continue to tackle a little bit better. We had some opportunities to make tackles. We didn't make them, but it's first ball game. But, again, they're going to attack us in the running game just like most people, and we got to make sure that we're able to stop them and slow them down and make them one-dimensional.